Okay, welcome everyone online. Thank you for joining us. The content today is going to be making an impact. We're talking about empowering adult learners to become leaders in the classroom and beyond. And I wanted to start out with saying, how did you feel when you came in this morning? I mean, this afternoon, actually. How did you feel just now coming in? Besides tired? How did you feel when you came in through the door? Did you feel welcomed? Because I was hoping you would feel that way. I wanted you to feel what it is like to be greeted by someone on your first day in class. And the people who were greeting you are our student leaders at our site in Florida. We come from Florida. We're with the school district of Palm Beach County, and Noida, who's standing right there, Noida is one of our student leaders, and Leon, and they're here with us. They got the mini grants to come be part of the student leader summit, student as leader summit. So I'm very happy to have them here, and I hope that you understand that your students can do so many things besides just coming to learn in your class. They can help each other. They can help you. They can become involved in the classroom. They can become involved in the school, your site, and even in the community beyond. And I want to share some of our experience at our site with how we've kind of developed this leadership in our group and the success that has come from that. I'll start with myself. My name is Jennifer Sherwin. I am a family literacy coordinator for an ESOL program in our district for adult ed. So I work with families. I want to get our students who are parents to be more connected with their children's schools and the community. So that's how this kind of started. And I noticed that we had a great group of students last year, for example, that really just connected, gelled well together. And we've really built a great program because of the leadership. Okay, so let's move. Do I have the thing? How do I do this? Okay, so we're going to start with an activity. Actually, did I do the poll? Okay. I forgot the poll. If you can write in the chat, if you're online, how many times there's a poll in the Whova app. How many times have you been to the COABE conference? And I was just wondering if by a show of raise of hands, how many people, is this your first time? Got a few first timers. Okay. Yes, our student leaders first time. How about second time? Third, fourth, fifth? Ooh, and who's been here longer than 5 years? Anybody? Everybody's pretty new. Okay, so welcome. I was asking this question because I want to see where we're coming from. Do you have any answers in the chat? Nobody's answered. Okay, maybe we'll hear some coming in, but or check the poll. My daughter is here to help. She's my buddy. I was going to see if we have some real experienced COABE conference goers, because that it kind of equates to how we choose our leaders in our site. They're more experienced with English because we have ESOL. And they can help other students that are just starting out. So I thought if we sat in our tables, or if you want to join another table, especially if you're, one or two people, we could reenact our table talk activities that we did. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about how this whole table talk activity started in our group. So for the students that are online, if you are in Whova app, there is a document in there that will show you the table talk format. And I'm going to take a break here to work with the students here online and maybe you can answer some of the questions from that activity in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to pass out some papers. Has a copy. Would you want to join? It's even better if you have more. So if you want to join another table just to mix up. We've changed up the sheet a little bit to make it for COABE, but it can be any topic that you want. And we had our students came up with the topic ideas and came up with some sample questions and then brought it into the community, and we're doing this table talk at a library setting. So if you go right down to conversation, usually someone at the table is the moderator, and I would usually pick someone who's more advanced. So some of my advanced students would be doing this moderation, and you would ask one question and everybody around the table would answer. And then you can see how that grows. It might just grow on its own into other questions and other conversations. But if it gets stale and people are quiet, you might want to ask some more questions. There's some follow-up questions. And so I want you to get started with the first question, which is the opening question. What do you like most about going to the COABE conference? And if you can answer that in the chat, that would be great. What do you like most about going to the COABE conference? Start that with your group. I have my student leaders sitting at the table. So Leon, if you could ask the students, the attendees in your group, your students, and just pick if you want. You're 5 years, right? So you can be the moderator, the advanced student, and you can start asking the questions. Same over here, okay, Noida? Okay, good. Great answers online, thank you. Okay, we're going to ask one more question in the chat and here on in person. I love all of the answers and all of the conversation, so keep it going. Thank you. Everybody done over here? Okay, I'm back. Okay, is everyone finished? Okay, I just want to bring everyone back. They're almost done. Okay, how did you feel? Did you get to know people a little more comfortable now? I don't, as an introvert, I have a hard time with these things, but I feel like it's nice to start a conversation, and having all those follow-up questions really takes the pressure off of the small talk. I don't like small talk, so it really helps. But I wanted to show you a picture of some of our student leaders that started this initiative called Table Talk. Here they are. You can recognize two faces in there. Noida and Leon are up there with our other students. So last year, this is how this happened. We had this idea, this big light bulb idea about having conversational English in the community, because every day, let me just tell you, coffee is my love language. Let's start there. I love to give everybody coffee. I love to welcome my students. I'll bring a tray full of coffee to the classroom. It's just my way of showing that I care. So we incorporated a break time in our class, in the middle of the class, where we had coffee, conversation and coffee. And it could be about anything. Sometimes it just, was whatever they wanted to talk about, but sometimes I might have a topic on the board to talk about. Maybe it's a holiday. What do you know about St. Patrick's Day or something like that? And we get the conversation started. The students really got to know each other and they bonded really closely. And then they wanted to do more. Oops. And so here you can see the results of our initiative. They won the COABE Programs Succeed When Learners Lead grant last year at the COABE conference in Nashville. We were so excited. I've never applied for a grant before, and it was all based on the ideas that they had, and we won $2,000 to run this conversation class in the library. So let's rewind a little bit. How conversation and coffee, that's in the classroom. You see us right there. We're having our coffee break. And then how did it become table talk? And I don't know if you can see this here. That's our flyer that we were giving out for the library. Let's see. I got to scoot this over here again. So let's, I don't want to be there. Okay, there. I'm not even in the picture. So here's what happened. This is the day it happened. We went on a field trip to the library on a day off from school. We met there, a few students came, and they were really inspired by the space. And they had heard about other programs that had this conversational element to it. And they said, why don't we have that at this library? And and our librarian, she's kind of hunched over in the front there with the apron. She said to them, well, I used to have a program called Table Talk in the schools, and we would have families get together and talk about, show them how to have conversation at the table, at their dinner table. And it also flowed into their idea. And so they said, could we have a conversational class here in the library? Is there space for us? And she said yes, and she collaborated with us on this idea. So going forward, I want to show you what Table Talk started to look like. Look at this. The first time we had it, it was just us, right? And then the word got out and it started to build. And we would provide coffee, of course. My love, I'm sending my love to all of them, and some breakfast snacks. And then the students decided their topics, just like the sheet that you have. We wrote a topic, we had an activity like a little icebreaker, and then afterwards there was follow-up questions and all of that. And we had childcare too. So we partnered with a local organization that works with families, and they provided the childcare on site in the adjacent room. So that was a really nice program. So that is table clock, which you just experienced. So how did all of this start? Well, I wanted to talk about how you can, where do you begin, right? I feel like there were 5 steps that we kind of went through to get to where we are. And it starts with identifying your leaders, supporting your leaders, connecting them with other groups, and then planning and leading a project together. And afterwards, celebrating what you've done so that it encourages more and you build on that momentum. So we'll go through it step by step. Step 1 is identifying your potential leaders. I want you to think about in your school, in your site, who are those students that are coming all the time? Who are the ones that are so friendly to everyone? Those might be really good leaders. And you can also ask them, who wants to be a leader? Who wants to join our leadership team? And you'll get some volunteers. But there's always those introverts right here that don't think that they are leaders and are afraid or shy to step up. But a teacher might know, they might see that they have that potential and might approach the student and say, would you consider being a leader? I know that you speak English very well. You know most of the students. We would really like to have your ideas, your input, and please join us. So just think about who are your leaders. And then create a student leadership team. We called ours PLAN at first, Parent Leaders Advisory Network. That's what we called it. But I thought, yes, that's a little too formal. So it's just a student leadership team. So by forming this leadership team, you're giving your students a sense of belonging. Their voices are heard. They feel like their opinions and ideas matter. And they might have some ideas on what they'd like to do in the school or in the community. So I was wondering if you have identified leaders at your site, and how did you do so? If anybody has anything to add, check in with you. Yeah. But you see natural leadership forming already, right? Within friends and within the group, right? Anyone else have anything to share? Yes. Right. Oh, I have to repeat what I should be passing around the microphone. Thank you. I forgot. So what our attendees over here in person have said is that one of them said that she likes to people watch and kind of observe who the natural leaders are. You can pretty much tell in the classroom. And then she also said that, sorry, now I'm losing my mind. Participation. Yes, thank you. The participation is really important. Seeing who's participating more in class. They seem to be a natural leader.
I think participation is a way to motivate your class. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Did you want to add to that so that the online students can hear, the online attendees? You're good? Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to step 2. Step 2 is supporting and encouraging the leadership. So now that you've identified these leaders, you've made this group, now you need to give them support and encouragement. So one of the things you can do is give them some training on how to be volunteers. I have our parent liaison from the school comes and gives a little orientation for our students so that they can volunteer in the cafeteria and get involved on campus, because they have to have certain security and all of those things. So training is important. Providing opportunities like the conversation and coffee, where people can bond and make friendships, because that's what keeps your student. It's good for retention, first of all, but also it gives them, they want to work together in more ways than just the classroom. So giving them support, also making sure that everybody is included. If you have a lot of students from different countries, making sure that their culture is represented in all that you do. And here's some friendships that were made. This group is amazing. I love this group. They're from so many different places. We have Spain, we have Haiti, we have Cuba, and somehow they became the closest friends, and language didn't matter. And then what happens is you want to come to school. You feel welcome, you want to come to school, you want to see your friends, and you want to get involved with them. So this is building that momentum. And then if you have the opportunity to go to adult ed conferences, to really give your students the chance to meet other student leaders and get inspired, like today. Okay. So if you have anything to add about how you support your leaders at your site, you can write it in the chat, or you can, Noida has a microphone if you'd like to add how you support leaders at your site. It's okay if you don't. Anything you'd like to share? Is there anything in the chat, Elizabeth? Okay, we got someone.
I'm actually not at a site. I'm on a statewide project. And so I'm going to speak on behalf of a site that's in Northern California. And they have this idea of a parent university. So student leaders participate in this parent university, and essentially what it's doing is discussing matters of their children and their engagement in school. So they're K-12 students. And so what that means when it comes to logging into some of their grading, or maybe they need help paying a bill, or they need help accessing other like governmental resources. And so now they've created this community through this parent university that helps them, and they're a part of their student leadership as well.
That's great. Yeah. And that's the support that they need. Students helping other students, right? Great. Okay. Anything else? I can move on. All right. So step 3 is connecting with the local organizations. Maybe it's connecting directly with your school, your local schools, the parents, your students who are parents and their children's schools. Maybe it's connecting. In this case, we have Officer Benito. He's our local sheriff's office liaison, and he comes and speaks to our students, but he does a lot of collaboration with our students. He'll sponsor us and he'll give us things that we need for our projects. So that's wonderful. I'm sure you can think of some places that would benefit your programs. So think about who you can connect with, like where we got the childcare for our table talk. We connected with Bridges, and that's a local community resource. So, okay. And then here we go, getting involved and leading, finally deciding, okay, this is what we want to do. We're going to do a project. We're going to put it together, plan it, and then we're going to lead. So in the classroom and beyond. So I kind of divide this because we teach ESOL, so there's beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So I wanted to think about it that way. At the beginner level, we started with planning parties in the classroom, you know, different events, whether it's a birthday or it's, you know, it's a holiday. We plan events, and then you always have somebody that wants to help, you know, make the list of food and, you know, contact people and put together the decorations. Noida likes to make cakes, right? So there's always some leaders that show up in that party planning process. So that's beginner level. The next level is volunteering at the school or at your, you know, in your site, getting more involved outside of the classroom into the bigger school. In our case, we are located at an elementary school campus. So we have partnerships with Head Start and also the Guatemalan Maya Center, which is also on our site, and the Highland Elementary School. So we partner with all these different groups and volunteer doing collaborations with them. So that's the second intermediate level. And then advanced is getting involved in your community. That takes a little bit more effort, and you have to kind of get out of your comfort zone and experience some new things in the community. So we've done beach cleanups, we've done other projects like a heritage fair, and you get noticed in the community. You might end up in the newspaper or something like that. And oh my goodness, it really encourages your students to do even more, which is why we do the advanced level initiatives like Table Talk, where we came up with some of our own ideas to do in the community. Yes. I forget about the microphone. Hold on, a question.
Who leads it? From staff? I mean, is there a point person
Oh.
that is kind of in charge of, so say student leaders need guidance and or direction, is there
That's a good
a
question.
lead to the lead from a staff member perspective?
I think that's a good question. I think it would vary depending on where you work, but in our case, since I'm the family literacy coordinator, I've kind of taken on that role of getting them more involved in the school and all of that. And I think they only expected me to really do connecting with the school, but we went further. You know, we went into the community, and that's kind of my background. I used to do a lot of volunteering in the community when I was younger. So I feel like I can help them get their voice out there. But we also have a teacher who is really good at gardening, and she's taken on this whole project herself to start a garden and on our campus right next to our building. And so that was her initiative. And she said, who would like to help me? And we have students that are getting involved in that. So I don't know. It just depends. You know, I think it takes one person who's interested in being a facilitator or, you know, just sponsoring the students and who has time. You know, not everybody wants to give more time out of their day, you know, to do this stuff. So anyway, it varies. You can be the one. Okay, so now we're going to do another activity. This time we're going to plan our own projects, okay? So if you want to work at the table you're at, we can give a sheet of paper. For the students that are online, or the attendees online, if you look at the resources I've posted, there is a document called the Garden Project. If you can open that up and add your thoughts to that Google document online, that would be great. Okay, so we're going to plan a project. I want you to think at your table. You can come up with your own project, or I have some examples. It could be a project in the school or in the community. And the online group is going to do it online, but here in person, we're going to brainstorm the who, what, when, where, and why, the WH questions. This is something you can do with your students. So you probably have learned about these questions, and it's something that they can use their knowledge and plan out their activity or project or event. If you're doing an event, you're going to try to figure out when you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, who's going to be invited, who's going to help collaborate with you. And then why are you doing this? So I want you to think about those questions when you're planning your project at your table. And this is basically what I did with our students when we planned our heritage fair and when we're planning our garden. We're sitting down and discussing these WH questions. I'm going to give you some paper and some markers at your table, and you can write down your answers. Maybe we can share them after. Okay. All right. Any questions? Let me know. So start thinking about your projects. I'm going to give you some ideas. Alex, can you help me pass out these? So put your project title on the top of the page. Some of the projects that we've done, I'm going to say it online. Where's my list? Here are some project ideas: a garden for your school, a family literacy event, movie night, field trip of some sort, art project, a heritage fair or event, neighborhood or school cleanup, Earth Day celebration, maybe a family picnic, table talk, teacher appreciation week activity, volunteering, and then, or whatever you want. Get creative. How's everyone doing online? I'm not really able to check the project, so I hope you have everything that you need to plan the garden. We're thinking about who, what, I think the what and the where are already figured out and the when. So now it's what kind of stuff you want to do at the event and why you want to do it. Think of some things to put on your plan. Thank you. How's it going? Good. Okay. We have two groups who have finished theirs in person here. One of the activities, one of the projects is arts and crafts. They planned it for students and families outside at the park on weekends or holidays. I'm telling them online. And it can lead to table talks and bringing communities together. They will provide food and include children. And then the other group talked about a class showcase day, which is in the prison system. So they were talking about how all the students can show their portfolios of work and at the end of term. And then it can also motivate other students to join these classes. So I think that's a great project. Sure, let's see. Okay. You want to present it to us? Okay. Oh, yes. Where's the mic? Got it? Okay. Why don't you post it on the wall?
Okay.
Okay. We have another group that's finished. They're going to post theirs on the wall and you'll hear them speak about it.
Okay. So this, I work in a prison and our goal is to connect people that are justice impacted that are soon to re-enter the community to meet and greet employers and in Salt Lake City. So they would physically, the WHO is like the Department of Corrections, obviously, the Chamber of Commerce, small businesses, second chance employers. And then obviously we would need the clients are, we say inmates still, and I know it's so incorrect, but when you hear it every day, you still say it. So excuse me. We would bring them into the picture so they could, if they've had like previous training and they're prepped and they're like excited about getting out and they want to find somewhere to work. So we would do like a speed dating, but we couldn't think of a name. AI could tell us though. So we would, yeah, just the location at the prison in this gym and then the date and time.
So is that almost like like speed interviews?
Yeah.
Very cool. But no,
Oh, no?
no. Oh, okay.
So
Expand.
only because a speed interview is sort of like a job fair. And the purpose
Okay.
of this event, as I envision it, is more about developing a culture of connection and relationship building
Okay.
around authentic personality, likes, dislikes. It's not trying to sell someone on who you are. It's
Okay.
about meeting someone where they are and as themselves.
Okay.
So it's much more of a social rather than a
Right.
professional way of starting the conversation and
Okay.
connecting. Yeah.
All right. That's nice.
Yeah. But then you would get to an interview. I mean, the interviews could happen late, that's
Okay.
down the road. This is really yeah.
That's
when you're
okay.
choosing.
That's nice. Okay. And I like how you also put on your sheet who you're collaborating with, because I think that's a big element in this too, is finding other organizations that can help you with your goal.
I think this is literally what I needed to hear too, because I have been planning things, and when I talk about like who is going to be involved, I always forget an entity. And it's like I had to put the Department of Corrections on there first because I always forget, like, we are going to be involved in this,
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. And then we have one more project called Taste of the World. Let's hear about that one. Uh-huh.
Okay, everybody speak with me, okay? Here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the
I
name
like
is Taste of the World. It's students and family activities for everybody shares their place from their country,
Mhm.
because we are so far our countries. In that time, we can bring our country to here. And it's almost fingers food, a word I learned here in United States, fingers food.
Yes, finger food.
Maybe the last week of May at the school. It's important because we have everybody have something to show, and in that moment you feel confident, you feel accountable because it's your country, you represent your
Yes.
country, you know everything, and it's good when the people are curious about your food and you say, okay, because for everybody our food is the best, the Dominican for me is the best food.
Right.
And that's the same for everybody. And the stranger relationships, it's not only for students, because when you go to the school with your family, you feel very grateful, and you feel confident because my family is here, my family see my environment. Okay.
Yes.
I have 1 year studying English here in United States. And this activity for me, it's very, very good. We do it in New Hampshire in my school.
Good.
And we share with all of you. Thank you.
So you've done this before.
Yes, one time.
Okay, excellent. And it was a success. Hey, a student leader. Wonderful. I love all of the ideas, and they were very different. And you can see whatever your students are interested in doing, you can bring it to life. Okay. So, and then when you finally do it, you celebrate. Okay. You celebrate what you've put together, the leadership. You can give out a certificate, awards. Look, we got our award here. Your department, if you are part of a school district, we were recognized at the board meeting. So there's certain things that you can do to get your students recognized on a bigger scale than just your classroom, and take advantage of that excitement and that momentum and build more projects together and encourage more students to be leaders, because over time, you saw the students in my first slide, some of them have moved on. So we need new leaders, right? So it's nice to show the successes and celebrate them and get others interested. So here's some examples of recognition, some certificates. Here's the board meeting. That was pretty exciting. Yeah. That was really, yeah, it was really exciting. So I'm very proud of our students. I wanted to hear if you have any other ideas of how you celebrate your leaders at your site, or anything that you do at your site. Maybe it's someone who went up a level in English or is the best Burlington user, like Noida is always the winner of our Burlington contests. Burlingtona is what she's called. So what do you do to celebrate leaders at your site? And if you're online, please write something in the chat. Yes.
We do what's like an award day, and we have an award for every student. That way nobody's left behind and they all can feel great about themselves. And even if it is you've improved or
Right.
you've passed part of your exam or you have become a great leader,
Right.
keep it up, stuff like that.
That's that encouragement that we were talking about earlier. And step 2 is that support and encouragement. It keeps them getting involved. Thank you for coming. Oh, Elizabeth Dragons. Okay.
You. We have a big graduation.
Okay.
For our classes, our cohorts that graduate, and people from the community, all of our partners come, and it's considered
A
a really
big deal.
special event. But I want to back up one step and say, I've been struggling because with an idea that I've had. One of our partners is the food bank, and they have a community garden, which is really exciting. And I would love for our cohorts to get involved in, but they're only 3 months long. And so I just had this idea of how they all could fit together for like a whole deck, into
Yeah.
the horizon together, one after. So that's helpful. I found a reframe on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
I'm gonna kind of take it back to
Jessica.
just some of the, basics when it comes to taking a picture and posting it on a wall, like stars of the month,
Yes.
or, featured on a school newsletter if there's an electronic newsletter. So again, I'm not at the program level, I'm at the state level, but we celebrate programs that have, been able to kind of add that little piece of recognition. If it's, if there's not capacity for an award ceremony or and so on, there are these little, especially with ESL students that are moving up levels.
Right.
If, is there a wall in the office that can be designated for, students moving up a level every month and so on. So,
Perfect.
and then newsletter idea.
Perfect. I just wanted to say, I know Leon and Noida have to catch their plane, so I wanted to say goodbye. Thank you. And and we'll wrap this up. I'm sorry. Thank you. So the session takeaways, here we are at the end. Oh, do you have a question, Elizabeth? Can you read it out loud? Oh, you have the microphone.
One of the people online said that they have an end of the year potluck where their students bring their families and friends and they give out awards. One of them says that they have a graduation, highlight success stories and post on their social media websites.
That's great. Yes, social media too. So they have a potluck at their site. And then social media, student success stories. You can have a student spotlight, a program spotlight, something like that, that can really bring attention to it. So I just wanted to remind you, these were the steps. You can have access to the slides on Whova. So, and then here's a summary of ways to do leadership in the classroom, just by making a comfortable environment, providing opportunities to become friends. Students can help as translators. Students can help welcome people coming to the program. You can have a team of student leaders. And then in the community, you can have just collaborations with other organizations, getting involved in student government, not student government, in your city government, bless you, and beyond, bless you. And just connecting them with those resources is important. So if you want to share anything about your student leadership online, please post in the chat. And if you guys have anything you want to add about yours, please let me know. And then also, thank you. Thank you. That was, oh, I made it through my first presentation. So here's my contact information. Yes, I have to celebrate. Woo! So please, if you need to contact me, or if you have some ideas that you want to share and you want to connect, please do. I'm at palmbeachschools.org. There's also another resource page in the Whova app if you need anything. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. I'm very glad to have met you, and good luck with your programs. And I hope to see some great projects and some more grant winners in the future. Let's go. Bye, everyone online. If you have anything else to add, please add it in the chat. Thank you.